Hello and welcome to the Introduction to Moon Events. I'm Kristin Wise. I'm a holistic healer and I'm the owner of Wise Holistic Healing. I'd like to quickly introduce the other two presenters on this call. We have a chance to learn more about them and hear about their journey and ask some questions to them in a short bit. So first, I'd like you guys to meet Adriana. She's a spiritual medium and the owner of MySoulsJourney11. And I'd like for you guys to meet Mo Smith. She's an intuitive coach and the CEO of I Love It When. So let's take a look at you. You're here watching this and being here with us. And if you're here right now, there's probably something inside of you that's calling for you to pay attention. And maybe that's you're looking forward to getting to know the work of Mo and Adriana. Maybe you're looking for a safe space to connect. And with other like-minded individuals and explore your spirituality. Or perhaps maybe you're just drawn to getting to know more about the effects of the moon that it has on us and how to get into your own natural rhythm with the earth and the moon. So I'd like to address that piece first from a scientific standpoint. We're going to jump right into this. I promise we're going to have lots of time for introductions and questions and all that kind of stuff, but I want to get to that meat of why the moon very first. So in recent research that was done by David Vargo, professor, and I'm sorry if I pronounce their names wrong, he's a professor of psychology at Vanderbilt University and research associate at Harvard Medical School, and Dr. Horacio, professor of biology at the University of Washington, and a leading researcher in the field of effects on the moon on human beings. And in these studies, they found some amazing facts. One, that the lunar cycle or moon cycle does in fact affect our sleep. So if you feel like maybe the moon has been affecting your sleep at some point in your life, it is true. It is now scientifically proven. And they concluded that the 3 to 5 days before the full moon, we have the smallest amount of sleep. So you're not crazy if you think like, oh my gosh, like what is going on here? That they also concluded that every 15 days around the time of the new and full moon, that the ocean tides are at the max high and max low. And this is due to the sun, moon, and earth being aligned on the same axis for those days. And then we also have the moon. Number 3, this is the third point that they had, that the moon, especially the full moon, tends to make people feel more imbalanced, more anxious, more manic depressive, and it can affect our energy and also amplifies our energy within us. So if you're peaceful and meditative, you're going to be feeling more peaceful and meditative. If you're suffering from any emotional or mental illness, you might see more of that as well. So we as humans are also made up of 60% water. And so if the oceans are affected by the moon, then it's also very safe to assume that it's also affecting us. So next, I'd like to just talk quickly about the spiritual effects of the moon and why it's helpful to work with the awareness of the moon. So following the moon cycles helps us honor and connect with our ancient lineage and our DNA of paying close attention to our earth and stars. We've been doing this since the beginning of time. It helps us work with our feminine energy and our emotions. The moon has a cycle which is similar to the cycle of the women on this planet, so it's a nice way to honor that. And then we begin with each phase has a different energy to it, and it gives us the opportunity to work with that energy. So we begin with a new moon, a new cycle, and we're going to talk more about that in a minute. Then we work into a waxing crescent moon, which can help us plan, prep, and plant seeds. And then we have our first quarter moon. That's the next cycle that the moon goes into, which encourages us to push through our obstacles. Then we have a waxing gibbous moon that helps us align ourselves with the universe. And then we have a midway point of the full moon. And we'll talk more about this in a minute as well. Then on the next side of things, we have a waning gibbous moon, which encourages us to look within, to cleanse negativity, to give gratitude. And then we have the last quarter moon, which can help us release bad habits. And we end with a waning crescent moon, which encourages us to rest and restore before we start the cycle all over again with the new moon. So that is a little bit about just the moon cycles. And I just want to talk about why we have decided at Wise Holistic Healing and why I've brought these beautiful humans on board to do these events, why we're doing them. So each month, Wise Holistic Healing offers 2 events and 2 opportunities for you to ground and reconnect with the moon and with your intentions. So we have the new moon manifestation with Mo, who's here on the call. We have the full moon celebration with Adriana, who's here on the call. And the new moon is a time of new beginnings, new starts, new cycles, new intentions. It's a time to be reborn. It's a time to start again. It's a time to move forward. And it's a time to tap into your own inner guidance and to begin to dream in what you want to manifest in your life. And then this new moon manifestation event was designed to help you do just that. To get a fresh slate, to start fresh with your new cycle, to get clear on what you want, and to manifest your most magical life. And with intuitive coach and magic maker Mo Smith, we can do just that each and every single month. The full moon is when things are happening, they're beginning to happen for us, and things are starting to come together, and our manifestations are beginning to bloom. And this is a time to let go, release any stagnant energy, anything that's no longer serving us. It's a time to clear out our closets, to donate items, to remove toxic patterns, cycles, thoughts, energy. And the full moon is a great time for healing, for calling in protection, for giving gratitude, and for celebrating yourself. The full moon celebration event was designed to help awaken your natural abilities, to learn, to let go, and to welcome in that self-love. And with spiritual medium Adriana guiding us, you're going to be given the space to dive in deep here and to do it in a playful and casual way, which is really awesome because sometimes with spirituality, we can get a little too serious about all this, and it's nice to still have fun. So these these events are both here to serve you and your spiritual journey in a way that feels right and aligned for you. We will never tell you what to think. We will never tell you what to do. We will never tell you who to be. We are just here to help guide you and your own intuition, your own inner knowledge, and your own tapping into your own spiritual guidance. Now, let's dive into this portion of the event where you get to know us a little bit better. This is going to be a little more fun. We're going to dive right in. We're going to do some questions and answers. So if you're here on live, hello, please put your questions right here in the chat box on Instagram Live. If you're here live in the recording, please put your comments right here in the chat box. We would love to see them. And we're just going to take a moment for any questions, and I'm going to unmute YouTube beauties and see if you guys have anything that you've seen come through yet. There
we go. I saw somebody ask, what if they have no experience with the moon and they're kind of like, I don't know if I should come.
Ooh, yeah, good question. Do you guys want me to field that, or would one of you like to field that?
I think my advice would be just to jump in. You don't know what you don't know. So you don't know if this is something you're going to vibe with, if this is something that's going to benefit you until you try it. So if you are on the fence of leaning one way or another, just try it.
Yeah. And I feel like Haley Anderson could speak really well to this too, who's started coming a couple months ago. And now she's had sessions with you, Adriana. I feel the way that I go about when I'm learning and meeting new people and new teachers is I go based off of their energy. So like, I really loved Kristin's energy when I took my first class with her, and I was like, okay, I can begin to trust her through that. And I can begin to trust Adriana the moment I met you. So go off of our energy. If you feel like there's just something cool about these ladies that I feel like I can trust, go with that first. And just like Adriana said, just jump in, show up for a class, see what you think. I feel like people always think it's going to be, kind of scary or overwhelming, and it's really not the way that we do this. Yeah.
Really not.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. It is a very relaxed atmosphere. It is very welcoming of everyone and anyone, all faiths, all spirituality beliefs. all parts of the process. I don't know anything about the moon. I don't know anything about spirituality. I don't know anything about what personal growth or, hey, I'm a total junkie. I love all this stuff. I can't get enough of it. I've been practicing it and studying it for 30 years. We have all sorts of people in these events. So that's a really great question.
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't see any other questions for right now, but we do have like a really big formal question and answer here at the end. So we're going to just hold the rest of the questions until then. I'm going to take a quick second to introduce myself, who I am, who Wise Holistic Healing is, and then we're going to dive deep into getting to know these two beauties on the call. So I'm Kristin Wise. I'm the owner of Wise Holistic Healing. I worked as a nonprofit executive for over a decade, and I found myself very burnt out, very sick, and I was at an all-time low. I just felt completely like a shell of a person. And so I quit my career, my decade-long career, knowing that I was meant for more than like eat, sleep, work, repeat kind of thing. And I worked to holistically heal myself as I traveled the country, living out of a suitcase, and then enrolling in educational training in different holistic healing modalities. I'm best known on TikTok for my Reiki and energy work, but I offer programs and month-long journeys to holistically help empower you to heal yourself. And I now have over 30 certifications in different holistic healing modalities. So that's a little bit about me. And I think that there are some questions that,
Yes. We have some questions for you. So my first question for you, since we've talked about this, and I love that you just shared that you're known for your Reiki and your energy healing on TikTok, because I know that that's how I came across you and found you. But what is something that you wish you could tell all of your followers on TikTok and Instagram about what you do that maybe they don't know?
Oh yeah, great question. So I would want to tell people that I'm more than an energy healer. I got popular for this, but that I like to see real results in my own healing and the healing, obviously, of those who feel drawn to work with me. And that you have to look at all parts of yourself. You have to look at your body, your nutrition, like, are you deficient in some vitamin? Like that could definitely be making you feel off. Like it's not just all spiritual, but it's also, unraveling cycles and patterns and conditioning and trauma from years and years and years that can also be affecting you, but it does take looking at the spirituality piece too. You can't just say, oh, I'm going to get my body tight and I'm going to get my mind tight and I'm going to like completely forget about all the spiritual stuff. Like that's your soul's care. We need all different pieces of that. So it's really looking at body, mind, emotions, spirituality, and life, and having that all together. And that's really what I'm super passionate about. And everyone's like, teach us more about the spirituality piece. And I'm like, well, we've got all this other great stuff too that goes together. It's really puzzle piecing. That's an awesome question. Thanks so much, Mo.
Love that. Okay. And then I ended up taking my Reiki certification with you just like last month or 2 months ago now. And you had a very different way of teaching it, which I realized this is part of the reason why I ran into you in life, is because I was supposed to take Reiki from you, because I definitely identified. So can you share a little bit with them about how you teach Reiki and why you teach it the way you do?
Sure. So I am a Reiki Grandmaster, but I teach Reiki from a really grounded, holistic point of view, which is kind of how I do everything. So Reiki is a form of energy healing that I have found has gotten kind of, I'll use the words cloudy or murky. That's just kind of the best ways that I can describe it. In this day and age, you can become a Reiki master in a few hours. Or you could pay thousands of dollars and study for years at a time. And the symbols of Reiki, I feel, are losing some of their integrity and their significance over time. So now I kind of practice my own form of holistic energy healing that works to do kind of more than just place the symbols in people's auras. And it really works to help heal on a deep, deep energetic level.
I love it.
Thank you so much for asking that question. And I'm going to flip this right back on you, Mo. I want to turn the floor over to you so we can have you introduce yourself and your business and what you do. And then I'm sure we will return the favor by asking you lots of questions.
Okay, cool. Well, hello, everybody. My name is Margaret Smith, and I often go by Mo. And I am the CEO of I Love It When, and I've had my company for just 2 years. So I was in real estate for about 8 years before that as a director of operations for a team called Pickett Street Properties. And I realized during those 8 years that I knew how to run a small business and that I needed to run one myself, that I needed to really fully take the leap and bet on myself, which if you knew me from before and knew me from growing up, this is probably not at all something people thought I would be doing, because I was very much and am very much an introvert. And I've just followed my intuition, which has led me to these two beautiful ladies and has led me to a life that I already love so much more than it's so much more than I expected. So what do? I'm a coach, I'm a consultant. I do regular coaching with people from all sorts of industries or people who just want personal development coaching. And I also go in and I can do consultations with businesses. So I can come in and evaluate systems and operations and also look at interpersonal communication. And then I also teach workshops and things like the new moon, because I love interacting with people. A lot of the magic that happens at the new moon is because of the people who are there. So we each add our own piece to the conversation, and you never know what's going to come out. And that's my favorite part, is the spontaneous magic that happens and the connections that are made and the signs that we get while we're talking together. So, I also do retreats. So I'm very much about experiential learning, because I realized from a very early age that I learned best by actually doing the things and experiencing them with all of my senses, not just listening to somebody talk. And so that's why I love workshops and I love retreats, and I love just getting to have the variety of people I get to interact with in my business. And so doing this new moon, having Kristin invite me to do the new moon and work with her and Adriana was the first time that I've ever been able to really intertwine my business knowledge and personal development growth with my love of spirituality. So I grew up in a Catholic family, but I always tell people it was not like legalistic Catholicism. It was very much more relaxed, much more. My mom and dad come from a place of just unconditional love. But I had experience. I went to a Lutheran college. I dated a Baptist. I dated a Nazarene. I've grew up in a lot of different Christian denominations. And I say that because for anybody watching who maybe comes from a religious background, I want you to know that I've had that experience, and I'm in spirituality and the study of spirituality and the life of a spiritual person, because I've finally found my home. Because I was searching for a home for a long, long time in a church, and I just could never find it. And I have never felt more at home or more at peace than I do now. And so for anybody watching who's nervous about things that involve spirituality and the unseen, I want you to know that it's okay to be nervous. And actually, it might be a sign that your heart's like, hey, maybe I should look into this. Maybe I should talk to these nice ladies. But that's why I'm so excited to be doing this work with Kristin and Adriana, because it's changed my life. And whenever I learn something that has a positive impact on my life, I feel like it's my duty to share it with the world. I can't not share something that's changed me in such a fantastic way. So I'm really excited to be here.
Yay, we're so excited to have you here.
Thank you.
So we do have some questions for you, Adriana.
Bring it.
Yes.
I think you've got one for her, right?
Yeah.
I can see you chomping at the bit, yes, let me go first.
Thank you so much for sharing all of that, first of all. And what is something you wish you could tell all of your followers across your social media about what you do?
I love this question because I think it's so hard to share in a way that makes sense to such a variety of people that we find on social media, right? Like social media is such a great marketing tool for small businesses, and also just a great way to stay in touch with friends and family on a personal level. But I wish I could tell them that my goal is really to help them expand their consciousness. So when I was thinking about this question, because we got these questions, thankfully, ahead of time to give us a little bit of time to prep, I was thinking what would I really tell them? I would tell them that there's a lot more to life than what you may be seeing right now. And I want to help you see what's possible, see the opportunities. And so I want to help you develop a mindset that is unlimited, a higher level of awareness, more peace and satisfaction in your day-to-day moments, and then a higher level of presence, and thus better relationships with your family, with your friends, with everybody. So that's what I wish I could tell them. Yeah.
I love that. I love that so much. And I have a question for you, Mo.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us your own, if you don't mind sharing, tell us your own personal manifestation practices and how you use them in the new moon workshops.
I love this question. So I did not realize that I was manifesting before I knew what manifestation was. I thought I was just kind of doing what felt good and just going about my life, doing my thing. And then I realized there was something about what I was doing that was working really well that other people weren't doing. And so these are a couple of the things. One is I'm highly sensitive to my environment, meaning wherever I work or wherever I live, it has to be set up in such a way that it feels good to me physically, mentally, emotionally. Now, some of you may think, like, what does this have to do with spirituality? It actually has a lot to do with spirituality, because a lot of what we talk about in these classes are energetic hygiene. Like, I no longer think of my energy as just like, oh God, I'm so tired today, or I'm so hyped up today. No, it's like our energy is like this extra layer, this bubble around us, and it's our job to keep it clean. And so what I didn't realize was that I was clearing my space constantly of clutter. And then also when I worked for that team called Pickett Street Properties, I was like setting up the space for us to be energetically successful. So I painted the offices. I wasn't asked to paint them. I hired someone, paid for it myself because I cared that much about it. I was crazy. People were like, you must be nuts. Why are you? But it was so critical to me to feel good in order to stay at a business. So I had each of the rooms painted this really pretty light blue. I put Edison lights up around the top of the ceiling, and I put up artwork, and I just made the space feel good. So that is actually really critical. The second thing is that I'm open to miracles. I have always been open to miracles, even before I knew what was possible. And by being open, miraculous things happened for me. And people were always like, how did you make that happen? How did you know that that person was going to talk to you about this? And I'm just like, I was open to it. And then the third thing is that I am intensely present in the moment. And I always have been, but it's gotten more so in the last couple of years, because by paying such close attention and being in the moment, I see signs that other people don't see, and I notice things that other people don't see. And so those are the things that we talk about a lot in the new moon workshops that people think might be really simple, but the truth is most people don't do them. And so to have this new moon every month that we get an opportunity to check in on ourselves, which is also for me, like part of the reason I teach is because when you teach, you learn. And so by giving myself this opportunity to teach every month, it's also a check-in for me. Am I being present? Have I cleared my space? How's my energetic hygiene? Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. I was going to say, we talk a lot about signs and manifestations and like what's
Yes.
happening like every single month in this. And it is
Love
really
it.
cool to watch. Like, I don't think we've ever had anybody who like didn't have something to share too. Like,
No.
even brand new people like who have
Mhm.
never been to this event before come in and they're
That's
like,
so
"Oh,
true.
I never knew that
Yes.
that was a sign or that was a manifestation." Like, we're
Mhm.
like, yup. And like, it's starting that breadcrumb. So I love that
Yes.
answer.
Yeah,
Can I ask you just one more question too?
totally.
So tell us what made you want to start shifting your work more into the spiritual realm. I know you do a million things and it's not just like you're I'm not trying to put you in a box by any means by saying like you're in the,
Okay.
but like what brought you to want to do more spirituality involved in your work?
I wanted to allow myself to truly be myself. And so I'm absolutely big believer in if you talk the talk, you got to walk the walk. And so I've been talking to a lot of women that I've worked with over the last 8 years in the real estate industry about truly being themselves and speaking up for themselves. Because in the real estate world, and actually in every industry, I think it's 93% of admin are women. And oftentimes women do not speak up for themselves, ask for a raise, ask for help, have a hard time talking to their boss about anything. And so I talked to them and I had this whole be you theme. And then I realized, well, shit, if I'm going to really be myself, I gotta like allow my inner child, allow my inner self to do this, because this feels like home to me. It feels so freaking good that if I didn't do it, I'd be really pissed. And I can't allow that anymore. I can't allow myself to not embrace my full self, as it just feels too good. And it's, yeah, I don't want other people to do that. So I gotta walk my walk too. And I want to walk the walk. Yeah. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. Is there anything else you want to share with us?
I just hope that, I think, you and Adriana and I, we have such big visions for this, for these workshops, and we want them to grow because we see the impact that it can have on community. And so if you're watching and you've been thinking about it, I really would encourage you to just take the leap and attend one of these workshops, because you never know if you never try. And so I think that's the last thing I would say, is just give yourself a chance to really explore something that could add more value than you even realize right now.
I
Yeah.
love that. Thank you so much, Mo.
Mhm.
We're going to turn the floor over to Adriana now, and we're going to let her introduce herself and her business and a little bit about what she does. And then we're going to also ask her some questions too.
Hello, everyone. I am Adriana Larson. I am the CEO and owner of MySoulsJourney11, and I am a spiritual medium. So in short, I help you connect with loved ones that have passed on. And I translate and I deliver any messages they have, any advice they have, any guidance they have. On top of that, I also do tarot cards and oracle cards. I often combine my services and do, I call it combo reading, which is a mediumship reading and a tarot reading in one. And I love that because it gives you a whole picture. You're getting the spiritual messages from your loved ones or your guides, but you're seeing something physical and tangible right in front of you. You see me shuffle, you see me pull, so you're seeing this physical, tangible proof right in front of me. So a little bit about me. I am 31. I am a mom of two. If you hear things in the background, that's my oldest jumping around and playing. And I am a stay-at-home mom. So I have had these gifts since I was little. And as I grew up, like any teenager, you don't want to be different. So I stomped them down, stomped them down. And as I got older, I was just ignore signs, ignore everything that was around me. And then I started picking back up when I hit around like 29, 30, and then COVID hit. And I was forced to figure out something else that I could do, something that I loved doing. And this was it. I love being able to connect with people. I love being able to help, because a lot of what mediumship is helping, whether it's providing closure or, again, guidance. It's something that I love to do. I love to be able to help be a part of that healing process. And what's funny is, growing up, I always thought, I can't do that. I have anxiety, I have depression. There's no way. Every person that I saw doing what I was doing had a very specific aesthetic about them. So I never thought I could, but here I am telling you all, it doesn't matter what you look like, what you struggle with. Don't put yourself in a box and try to be like everyone else. You were born to stand out. So that's what you have to do.
Hey, Adriana, can I ask you, did you just say every other person had a certain look, like a certain?
I noticed growing up, or when I first started realizing my abilities, that the people that I was seeing had a very specific aesthetic, like the long wavy hair, the very like namaste, peace and tranquility.
Yes.
And my life is chaotic. Like I said, I'm a mom to two. My oldest has autism. I have a baby. I have a dog who is currently sleeping, but my life didn't fit in that box that I was seeing. So I'm pretty sure it was when I first met up with Kristin that I was like, hold on, we're not all the same. Like, they're not all the same. And now seeing you, like, we are all very different, but that doesn't make us any less in our field. You know what I mean?
That just gave me full body shivers. I love that.
So this is my full-time job. I work from home, which is fantastic. It gives me the flexibility that I need for my family while still being there for my clients. So
That's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that with us, Adriana. And I think Mo's got a question for you first.
Yes. What is something that you wish you could tell all of your followers on TikTok and Instagram about what you do?
okay, so especially on TikTok, mediums are kind of a hot button topic. You see them all over the place. And one thing that I like to tell them about what I do is not only am I there to help you, I'm there to guide you. I'm there to be someone that you can turn to, but I'm also there to do it ethically. To me, ethics in this field in spirituality is extremely important. So just know that whether you're seeing me or pretty much anyone that I work with, Kristin or Mo, we are all very ethical, and we run our sessions with you in mind.
That's
such a great point.
Yeah, absolutely. We do. It's really important. Actually, I think it's like a core belief for all three of us is like ethics is like number one, like in our top, like
yes,
must be ethical. And I think that's part of your business even too, Mo, right? Like you have that as listed as
one of my values. It's I'm so glad that you said that, Adriana. I hadn't really thought about that part of it, because you will meet certain people, some people in spirituality, just like you would in any religion, that don't have pure intentions. And so I will not refer anybody in my network to anybody who I think I have not had an experience yet that shows me that they have pure intentions, or that if I've had a poor experience, it's a big deal. So the fact that the three of us are collaborating together should tell anybody who's watching that we all have that same intention, which is huge.
Yeah, it is really big. All right, Adriana, I've got a question for you. What draws you to teaching and leading a group on the full moon specifically?
I love the full moon. So, fun fact about me, I've grown up in the medical field almost my entire life. And the new moon gets a bad rap. Because the full moon is such a high energy state, it can affect a lot of us. So we would see it in like the elderly or in children. They would just be full of energy and just start acting out. So just seeing that, it already had started in my head, like, this goes a lot further than just, oh, it's just the moon. The fact that this big thing in the sky that's so far away can affect us so drastically for some people was fascinating to me. And one of the things that have always kind of stopped me from going into learning about this more was it can be very intimidating. The amount of information that is out there is bonkers. So Kristin, I have to hand it to you. The way you spelled that out and the way you explained that to us was so easy to understand. So thank you. So when Kristin asked me to help teach this celebration, I wanted to come from a different point of view. I wanted for it to be laid back, easy to understand, fun, and interactive. I wanted it to be more of kind of like a group of us are just hanging out, doing some magical things, no big deal.
Doing some magical things, yes.
Magical things.
Perfect way to summarize it too. It is really, that's what the full moon celebration does feel like.
and I first started with going to these new moon celebrations with Mo, and that's how I met Mo. And it was just so laid back and it wasn't intimidating at all. And that's what I love about these, is that they're fun. It's like a little break. You get to just hang out with some friends for an hour and a half, but you're still learning. You're still experiencing the magic of all this energy. So when Kristin gave me the opportunity, I jumped on it.
Yeah, I really am so glad that you're the host of this for sure. And I do want to just jump in real quick and say that we did have a comment. It's not a question, but a comment on Insta.
Woohoo!
Also streaming Insta Live. So if you're watching this recording, we're also here. And they say that we're all very ethical and we create a very safe space. So that was a really nice comment that came through as confirmation of just, yeah, this is really what we do. And this person's been following us all for a very long time, and she's got her own magical abilities, getting to smell different woods and all sorts of things like that. Yeah. We won't name her by name. We won't call her directly out, but she does have some super magical abilities that I have never seen in my entire life. So
say that again. She can smell different what?
She can smell whatever we have going on our end. So we're gonna have to bring her into something with you for some time.
We need to do like an event of all the Claires.
Oh my God, she will blow your mind. It is the
That's
most
cool.
It is uncanny. It is uncanny. Like, we'll burn something and like it'll be totally random. She won't even see it, anything. She'll be like, frankincense? We're like, yup. And then she's like, okay, what about this one? She's like, lemongrass? We're like, It's like 100 out of 100 times too. Like,
Wow.
I'm pretty sure she called out the flavor of tea that I was drinking one time.
That's incredible.
She says she loves us too. We love her. She's amazing. So, okay, I think Mo's got another question for you, Adriana.
Yes. So I was thinking about myself when I thought about this question, because I always had such, like, one of the signs I think I was getting growing up and in my early 20s was I was so intrigued with psychics and with mediums, but I wouldn't ever like allow myself to go there and go visit one. So how do you approach people who have zero experience with mediums, but want to talk to you, like, or come to the full moon? Like, how do you help them overcome any fear they might have?
So I was that person. I was so skeptical and, I like wrote everything off. And then I found the right person. I found the right person that I went to.
That is such a big deal.
Yeah, I found the right person and my entire outlook changed. So like Mo said earlier, it's like, go off of our energy, off of our vibe. If you see a video of ours or a posting, or if you're here watching live or on a replay and you're like, all right, I can dig these ladies. Like, I can deal with the crazy lady with the space buns and a TLC t-shirt on. That is a sign that this might be the right person. So ask questions. If you find someone, like I said, that you trust, that you think is knowledgeable, ask questions. Ask all of the questions, because you never know until you ask. Ask the questions, do the research. There's so many different aspects of what we do that, maybe the way I read, you don't connect with, or, the way I read my cards, you don't think you can do it. Find what works for you and then build upon that.
I love that you said that, because I will say, and I always say this to people, I've been to a variety of mediums and psychics because I wanted to see, okay, what does this one do versus this one? And what I would tell a friend if somebody's watching that I look out for is, I have met a couple who have made a comment or said something at the end of the reading that was like, hey, if you come back, I can do this for you for this much money. And so whenever I feel like they do something where they're trying to get more money from me, very specifically, that is usually a sign to me that this might not be the right person for me. Because anybody else who I've met with, like you, Adriana, or my coach, Enmei Mangles, I have never gotten that from you guys. I've always wanted to come back. I've always had to like wedge myself into your schedule. It's never felt manipulative or, and there's only been 2 times when I've had that happen, thankfully. But just like if somebody's watching and they're like, well, how do I know? You will know if you're pay attention to your body and how your body feels. Like you said, like you can sense our energy.
You will definitely know. I will say, because when I was younger and I was trying to like figure this out, I have apparently been cursed more times than, they would tell me like, you have a curse on you, but if you come back, pay this amount of money, I can take the curse off.
Okay.
Like, okay.
Yeah, somebody told me that I needed to retrieve more part of my soul and it was going to cost $750.
Yeah. So if you just get like one of those like inky vibes, follow your intuition. Something that I like to do with my readings is I call it like an evidential statement, where I'm going to say something that I would have no way of knowing. It needs to be something specific that only you would know, as almost like evidence. So for example, I did a reading and I could see her with her grandmother cooking. And she goes, do you see what we're cooking? And I said, I can see dumplings. I had no idea. And she was like, that is the one thing that my grandmother would teach me how to make. So it's something like that I try to get in every single reading. Something of just evidence.
That's awesome. That is so awesome. So I've got a question for you, Adriana. So part of this full moon celebration is helping people awaken their natural abilities. Do you believe that everyone has natural magical abilities, or like, what's your opinion on that?
100%. I do think everyone is born with abilities. What abilities and to what degree, that can vary from person to person. But everyone has an intuition or a conscience. Like, you do something and that little voice in your head starts talking. That's an ability. It can come across as your own voice, but you build on that. You start to differentiate, okay, what is my inner thoughts and what is spirit? The problem is not really a problem. If you notice, you hear a lot of stories of kids being able to see spirit or being able to talk to spirit. You can find like those creepy little stories all over the place. Kids are of pure energy and they aren't bogged down by everyday life like we are. So as we get older, life gets busy, we start changing, that sense can get convoluted. So I do believe that everyone has those abilities. It's just whether or not you want to work on it, and it's whether or not you believe in yourself, really.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you so much. Is there anything else that we didn't cover that you wanted to share, or did we catch everything?
I'm pretty sure we caught everything. What I will say, like Kristin had mentioned, that these full moon events are to help awaken those natural abilities. You don't have to come to them being like, I know I have abilities, I just can't access them. Even if you don't think you do, you can still come. You can still participate. There's a quote that I'm blanking on from one of my favorite movies, which is Practical Magic. And it's at the end of the movie where they're trying to save Jillian, Nicole Kidman's character. And one of the women off the PTO's calling tree was like, I couldn't believe, like, I didn't think I could do this. And the aunt turned to her and said, we all have a little witch inside of us. And that's how I like to kind of like look at it. We all have some magic inside of us. We just need to access it.
I do have one other random question that just came to mind now. As you're going around, like when you leave your house and you're going around, go to the grocery store, let's say, Do you have to do something to like turn that off, or like everywhere you're at Walmart and you're like, oh no, someone's trying to talk to you?
I do. It's gotten better as I've worked, as I've grown in my
Mhm.
abilities. But public places, spirit sometimes just blends in with everyone else.
Okay.
So unless they just like come to me, it's worse when I'm doing something one-on-one.
Okay.
So, for example, I was getting a facial and the woman's grandmother came to me and I had to be like, I'm busy. I'm sorry. And then I had the same woman who did my nails like a year later. Finally, I was like, okay, I have to tell you. But in those one-on-one situations, it can be a little harder because they kind of
Yeah.
corner you.
Yeah.
But I'm able to now be able to kind of close it down and put boundaries up
Okay.
with them. Um, I think a lot of people have seen stuff like the Long Island medium where she just like approaches people in the store. It could get like that if you let it, but most of the time you just you learn how to kind of tune them out.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so we are coming to the end already. It has blown by. This is so fast. Um, and we're just gonna see if there's any questions here. I don't see any yet, but we put it back out there to ask any questions if anybody's got any questions for us. And I just want to quickly talk about how to join these events. So if you're watching this and we're going to have this recording available for quite a while, so this maybe feel a little dated at some point. But right now here it is Thursday, June 30th, 2022 at 10:51 Pacific time. And right now what we have coming up is we have the next event is going to be the full moon event with Adriana. It's going to be next Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and that is you can come to that. And then it is $44 to join. And then we're also running a summer pass special until Tuesday. And this is just like such a great deal and something to really take advantage of. So if you're here now, either on Insta or here live in this Zoom meeting, or you're watching this replay before that time expires, this is a great deal. It saves you over $60. And it gives you access to 4 events this summer. You can have 2 new moon events with Mo. You can have 2 full moon events with Adriana. And just so you know, pretty much every event, all 3 of us are at these events. I don't want to like put a guarantee out there because, sometimes things happen. But I would say probably 90% of the time, all 3 of us are in all these meetings too. So Adriana will sometimes, Mo will.
Can't stay away. We just can't stay away from you guys.
Well, and I was gonna say Mo graciously has Adriana at the end of her new moons to give messages if she feels called. And we just kind of all really work well together too. So you're kind of getting like 4 events with all 3 of us, a healer, a coach, and a spiritual medium. But yeah, 3 for 1 exactly. But we are also all kind of also the other things too. So we all kind of we're all healers, we're all mediums in a way, we're all coaches in a way. So it's pretty cool. We all have our own specialties though, and so it's really neat to have access to that at these events. But we also have a 6-month pass. Now this is really the cool thing that we're offering. This is 6 months of new moon and full moon events. Plus, in this pass, you get half off discounts for private sessions with Adriana, with Mo, and with myself. So you're gonna get you could have 3 sessions all for half off, which is huge discounts. I think I did the numbers and it saves like close to $1,000 for someone to be able to take advantage of between the 6-month pass and getting to save almost $100 there, and then getting to save so many hundreds of dollars in private sessions. So if this is something that you're like really excited about, then please take advantage of that. Oh, great, 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 great. We have a nice comment says, beautiful session. Glad to know more about becoming spirituality and becoming more spiritual. Great. Thanks for joining us. We're so glad you're here. And so yeah, every full moon and new moon, we have the links up on all three of our websites. You guys can be able to join any of the events that you want. We have every month a new moon, every month a full moon, 2 chances every month for you to join our awesome group. And if there's any other questions, please feel free to ask away, or we can just have some parting last words from these beautiful ladies here.
I had a question for Adriana, because I know that she was feeling anxious or nervous about this, and it's been so fabulous. I was wondering if you have gotten any messages while we're doing this about this event.
Let's see about these events. Yeah, so I said earlier, like, I keep getting these signs that these events are going to be really big. I'm still getting that feeling. It's funny because I've got, like, one of my guides, he keeps saying, you're gonna get there, you just need to be patient. Like, I'm the type of person, if I want it done, I want it now, and to my liking, and to my, like, exact specifications. And he's like, it's going to happen, it's going to happen. I did just want to add, what's great about, like, these new moon and full moon events is Mo works on manifestation, on bringing whatever you want, learning how to manifest it, where in mine, it's all about releasing the old and opening up that space to allow those manifestations to actually occur. Just wanted to throw that out there.
Love it.
Yeah, I love that. And we do have a question. How can we work on our anger issues? So this was a question that came through. How can we work on our anger issues? Does anyone want to take a stab at this first?
I mean, the first thing I would say, if I were talking to somebody face to face, would be to address it. Like, so when I feel angry, I actually ask it questions. I say, hey, and sometimes I talk to it like it's my inner child. Hey, little Margaret, what are you angry about? And so I would start with asking a question, because oftentimes I think by being curious, it can change the level of emotion you're feeling. So if we're looking at the emotional scale, right, anger is a lower vibration. And one of the goals you have when you're in different lower vibrations is to raise it, not by ignoring it, but by addressing it. And so I would talk to it first and see if you can find out what it's about. And then probably my next step would be to move my body to start to release that feeling. I don't know what you two would say, but that's what I would do first, I think.
Yeah, I think definitely addressing its roots, finding out where it stems from is super important as an energy healing practice. I'll give you guys a little free energy healing practice to work with anger or any real toxic emotion like that that's really kind of very overwhelming. I like to picture a purple tornado there in my solar plexus. So this is right above your belly button. And it collects the debris and it spins and spins and spins. And this is great in a session. But you can also do it yourself. You can picture this purple tornado and it's collecting all this debris, all this anger, all this resentment, all this, any other issues that comes with it, and spins and spins and spins and spins. And you want to have it come all the way out of you. And it should energetically help you release some of that anger as well.
Yeah, I think you guys said it, like, perfectly. And people ask me about, like, spirit and how spirit becomes, spirit. And, I go off of one of Newton's laws of relativity of energy is neither created nor destroyed. So using that energy, once you're able to find the root and clear all of that, like, negativity out, is using that leftover energy for something productive. Like Mo said, either getting up and moving or crossing things off your to-do list, like using that energy to get something done.
Great. They say thank you so much for the help. So that's great that we had that question. And that's our only question for right now. But I will say, please do. We are very approachable. The three of us are very approachable. So you can send us a DM on Instagram. You can send us an email. You can visit our websites. I do know that wherever this is posted, there will be that information close to it. So you will be able to have access to those types of things. And is there any other parting words you guys want to share before we sign off for the day? Was so fun, and I can't believe ooh, that hour just flew
Can't believe
by.
it.
It did. I don't think I have anything else. No, I'm just excited to meet some new people. So I hope that when you find this, that you take the chance and hang out with us.
Yeah, we can't wait to meet
Mhm.
you. We cannot wait to meet you. You're going to be in a safe and welcoming environment. It is super important to all three of us, with that ethical thing that we talked about before. It's also super important for all of us that everyone feels welcomed. This is not no one gets left out. No one gets left out in these. It is so important that you feel like you have a safe space to come and be able to explore these things, and that is what we do here.
Mhm.
Okay.
Perfectly said.
All right. Awesome. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for joining. Thanks for joining here. We are so glad that you were here and watched this whole thing. If you made it to the end, woohoo! Kudos, snaps for you. We'll give you some give you snaps for exciting things. And then thank you everyone who joined us on Instagram Live as well. Have a great day, and we can't wait to see you in the next event. Bye.
Bye.